Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup 2020 Meta Preview Week 5. So this weekend in the Overwatch League is Week 5, and we are now in March, and that means hero pools are finally here. The hero pool will be changed periodically every week to keep the league meta fresh and stop us from getting stuck in metas like goats or double barrier like we have been in the past. Now, obviously, this is pretty random, but it is given to the dominant heroes in the meta right now. So, how they decided it this week was the top 10%, so if you've had more than 10% usage in the league in the past 2 weeks, you were available for possible expulsion out of the hero pool for next week. This will continue to rotate, and one hero can't be banned for multiple weeks in a row. So, these heroes that are banned this week will be coming back the week after in week 6, and it will be a new wave of heroes that are banned. So, 4 heroes are removed from competitive play. They will be two damage heroes, 1 tank, and 1 support. Obviously that's because there is an overabundance of DPS heroes in the game compared to the tanks and the supports. Obviously, this means that we're going to see some different looks. And this, out of the heroes that had 10% usage or more, it was completely random. It was done as a random pick. You may have seen it on the Watchpoint post-show after the games on Sunday, where they picked it out of a tombola. It won't be done on the Watchpoint show usually. It'll just be a random pick, but that's how it was done this week. So, let's take a look at what we are going to see in this week then, or this week coming up. So, let's start off with the supports. And the support that has been banned this week is Moira. Moira was the least played out of the available supports to be banned. So the available supports to be banned were Ana, Lucio, and Moira. So Moira obviously succeeds very much in more deathball-y comps. And we are probably going to see less of that, especially with the other hero that has been banned as well, which we'll go on to in a minute. We're probably going to see a lot less deathball-y comps. But then again, we weren't seeing too much of that anyway. Lucio Ana is still expected to be heavily the dominant support duo going through this week, and probably next week we will see either Ana or Lucio banned, because I'm not expecting Baptiste or Brigitte or Zenyatta to come in and fill the spot, or Mercy, I shouldn't forget Mercy, to fill the spot for Moira. The only possibility in my eyes is a perhaps upsurge in Mercy usage, considering the DPS heroes that have been banned and what that might mean for the DPS method that we see in week 5, but we will get onto that in a minute. Next, let's take a look at the tanks then. So, out of our tank roster, obviously D.Va, Orisa, Reinhardt, Roadhog, Sigma, Winston, Wrecking Ball and Zarya, we had a few options. So we had Reinhardt, D.Va and Winston, who were available to be locked out of week 5. Obviously the dominant meta right now for tanks is mostly Reinhardt, D.Va. Now, this week we will be seeing Reinhardt banned, which is, we expected either D.Va or Reinhardt to be banned. If it had been Winston, it would have been pretty disappointing because, well, Winston has only been seeing play because some people have been playing Hackfist. So, they, believe it or not, Moira or Winston only just sneaked into that more than 10% usage because of last weekend. Say if Toronto versus Houston, if they hadn't played so much Hackfist, Winston probably wouldn't have been available to ban. But it's not Winston, it's Reinhardt we are banning this week. This will mean a pretty big shift in what we will see teams running. Not as big as the shift that the DPS bans will cause, but it will see us make a big shift because obviously Reinhardt is the staple main tank right now and he won't be available. So there's 2 options here. It's possible we will see a lot more Orisa, and she will be played with the D.Va as just a straight replacement for Reinhardt. Obviously, if you want a natural barrier tank, your first go-to is Orisa if you can pick Reinhardt. Sigma, we might see if we want double barrier. We have seen a little bit of Sigma. Paris, notably, I think, have played Sigma a bit. But the problem is with Sigma right now, he is pretty trash. His ult is so difficult to get off. It's basically worthless. And wouldn't expect any Roadhog. Unless we see Orisa, then some people might try and pick up the Roadhog. But we have seen literally 0% usage of Roadhog this season, so it's unlikely. We might see more dive. So this means D.Va, Winston, Wrecking Ball. any number of, a combination of those, you could see Winston Wrecking Ball, you could see Winston Diva, you could see Wrecking Ball Diva, you could see that come back slightly. It depends where the teams decide to go, and I think it will heavily depend on what team it is. I would expect Houston to go to the Hackfist. I wouldn't expect Houston to be playing Linksa, and they'll probably go to the Hackfist, and that means we'll see more dive from them, like Diva, Winston, Wrecking Ball. More likely Diva, Winston, because Muma, although Muma looked good on a Wrecking Ball as well, so we could see either. Zarya, heavily unlikely that we will see Zarya, because Zarya, we always like to play with a Reinhardt. No Reinhardt. So, I would expect to see either Orisa Diva or Orisa Winston, and that's where we're at right now. But, moving on to the damage heroes then, I'm not going to read off all of the damage heroes because there's too many of them. But, available for bans this week were McCree, Mei, Widowmaker, and I think Doomfist was in there. I think he snuck in there. Or he might have been just outside, I might be wrong. So, we are going to see a pretty big shift because the way it worked, and it's pretty disappointing, we saw that McCree and Widowmaker will be banned. So, we have seen quite a big amount of McCree usage recently. The meta, typically in the DPS slots, are Mei and McCree. But we have been seeing some people run the Widowmaker, especially on certain maps like Junkertown. Junkertown lends itself very nicely to the Widowmaker, and that's not going to be an option now. So, this means that we are missing actually a massive amount of Hitscan from the roster when you take out McCree and Widowmaker. So your natural long-range Hitscan now would be Soldier 76 or Ashe, two heroes that are basically trashed here in the meta. So, considering there won't be a meta from now on, we may see a bit of Soldier 76. I think it's perhaps more likely than Ashe, although I might be wrong. It depends on what people go with in terms of the DPS they're going to play. Because, obviously, an absence of long-range Hitscan brings us to the possibility that Pharah might become much more dominant, because she will have a lot more room to maneuver without having to worry about that Widowmaker or McCree. Obviously, it's been McCree that's been keeping Pharah out of the meta, but she could now see a resurgence due to the absence of McCree and Widowmaker. So, we've also seen London, although we won't see London this weekend, we've seen London run a bit of the Pharah for Shui on Ilios, and Ilios has typically been a pretty good map for Pharah. And remember, when you've got Ilios runes, you'll be missing that Widowmaker. So there'll be something different there. We might see teams go down the route of the Doomfist Sombra that we saw a lot from Toronto and Houston last weekend. That's a possibility. Remember, as I said earlier, possibility in a rise in Mercy rates, that's if Pharah sees an upsurge in usage. If we see an upsurge in usage of Pharah, we will always see an upsurge in usage for Mercy, because we will always see Pharmacy. Obviously the outlier here is Mei. We probably all wanted Mei to be banned. She is not banned. I think she's going to be good. She's still going to be good. And it'll be interesting to see how people counter this. I think she's more counterable now because of the absence of Hitscan. Unless people adopt something like a Mei Soldier or a Mei Ashe. Because that makes Pharah difficult to play. But if we don't see that, then Mei becomes much more difficult to pull off because you've got heroes like Pharah that can really cause Mei problems. And she doesn't really have too many answers for it unless she hits one hell of an icicle. Which, let's be honest, she's not adverse to doing. It might also see an upsurge in Reaper and Hanzo usage. If you want to burn things down, generally the Hanzo is a good thing. And Reaper, we saw Reaper in the meta just before we saw McCree kind of shove him out alongside Mei. We saw Reaper Mei. So we could see an upsurge in Reaper usage, but the problem is we're going to see an absence probably of Deathball comms. So that doesn't really work in Reaper's favour. Now, obviously there are some outliers that might come in here. You've got the unique picks like the Symmetra and the Torbjorn and the Bastion, although I don't think we've seen a single minute of Bastion this season so far. We have seen Symmetra and Torb though. Thank you Atlanta for playing the first Torbjorn. And there are outliers like Tracer. Tracer will benefit from McCree not being in the meta, but she doesn't benefit from the fact that Mei is still in the meta. So I still think we will see some Mei. If we don't see any Mei, then we could see a big upsurge in Genji and Tracer usage. But I don't know. It's very difficult to tell. And this is what's great about hero pools. You really can't tell what's going to happen? In my opinion, it's going to go one or two ways. If we get the Diva Orisa comp, I think we will see Mei, and I think possibly we will see Reaper, or perhaps a Sombra. If we don't see that, I think we will see Hackfist. I think we will see Doomfist Sombra, and I think we will see Dive, Winston Diva. And that will be interesting, because I think we all loved seeing that with Houston and Toronto last week. But it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. This is the first week of hero pools, and I think this is great because it will really show the adaptability of the players in the league, because we know that the players in the league are very, very good at a variety of heroes, but we don't get to see them very often. We've seen so many people and I'm not saying they won't be locked in this jail for this week, but people like Nico and that locked in this Mei jail at the moment because Mei is so powerful. And it's possible that if we do see that Diva Orisa comp and Mei still dominant, Mei is a highly likely hero to be banned next week. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. That is our meta look for this week, though. I am planning to make this a weekly occurrence because obviously we are going to have hero pools from here on in, and it's going to change up every week, and it's going to be so very, very unpredictable. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. The roundup will be back tomorrow with the preview of week 5. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.